Hello everyone! Welcome back to our channel. You know what? There's one K-pop dancer who every time he steps on stage, he's not just dancing, he's telling a deeply profound story. Yup, that's Jimin from BTS. But wait, there's something more interesting than just his perfect dance technique. Jimin actually hides secret messages in every choreography, and after you know this, I guarantee the way you watch his performances will never be the same again. So before we start, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss out on other interesting content. And if you have any opinions or have ever noticed unique things about Jimin's dance, write them in the comments section. Okay, let's get started. Try to pay close attention to how Jimin starts his performance in the song Lie. It's not like other dancers who immediately boom with powerful movements to grab attention. Jimin actually starts with super smooth, almost fragile movements. Like there's an invisible weight he's carrying. Guys, this isn't a coincidence. Jimin intentionally depicts internal conflict, the struggle between wanting to be free but being constrained by lies. Every trembling finger, every empty gaze, everything has a story. The first hidden message here, guys. Sometimes our biggest prison is our own mind. Pretty deep, right? Now, there's an interesting story from a choreographer who once worked with Jimin. They said Jimin is the only dancer who always asks why behind every movement. Most dancers focus on technique. Are the feet positioned correctly? Is the timing right? Are the movements strong enough? But Jimin, different. He can sit for hours studying lyrics, understanding the emotions behind the song, even researching the philosophy of the album's concept. Only then does he pour his soul into every movement. That's why his dancing feels so different, because every movement has a reason, every pose has its own meaning. Now let's talk about Black Swan. You surely remember the song that talks about an artist's fear of losing their passion for art. Here Jimin creates a moment that silences the entire world. There's one scene where he falls to the floor, his body curves in an almost impossible way, then slowly rises again. Guys, this isn't just to show off flexibility or physical strength. If you pay attention to the details, when he falls, his facial expression shows total surrender, a frightening numbness. But when he rises, there's a small glimmer in his eyes. That's fragile hope, the desire to try again, even though he's fallen many times. The second hidden message. True resurrection isn't about never falling, but about choosing to rise even when there's no strength left. What makes Jimin's messages even deeper is the way he uses space on stage. Professional dancers understand a concept called kinesphere, the personal space around the body that can be reached without moving from place. Jimin is a total master at manipulating his kinesphere to tell a story. When he wants to depict vulnerability, he'll make himself appear smaller, his movements contracted, like he's protecting himself. Conversely, when depicting freedom or strength, he expands his movements, claiming every inch of space around him. In Filter, for example, a song full of confidence and the ability to transform oneself, Jimin uses the entire stage with large and expressive movements. This is a visual representation of the lyrics, the ability to be whoever he wants. There's interesting research, guys. Body language experts who analyzed Jimin's performances found something amazing. He uses principles of nonverbal communication with a level of awareness that's rarely found, even among professional actors. In every performance, there are 3 layers of communication happening simultaneously. The first layer is the choreography itself, movements that have been designed and practiced. The second layer is Jimin's personal interpretation of that choreography, how he adds emotional nuances through movement quality, speed, and intensity. The third layer is spontaneous communication that happens in the moment, response to audience energy, connection with other members on stage, or emotions he's feeling at that time. These 3 layers combine and create something unique in every performance, even though the choreography is the same. Now try to notice how Jimin uses his hands. It might sound trivial, but hands are one of the most expressive parts of the body, and Jimin uses his hands like a painter uses a brush. In Serendipity, his hand movements are soft and flowing like water, creating an impression of gentleness and delicate romance. But in Set Me Free PT2, those same hand movements become sharp, firm, even aggressive, a symbol of self-liberation and refusal to remain confined. The third hidden message. True transformation starts from small things, from how we use our hands, how we stand, how we choose to express ourselves. Guys, there's something even more interesting. A psychologist who specializes in movement therapy once analyzed Jimin's performance and found that he intuitively uses a technique called emotional mirroring. This is a phenomenon where viewers unconsciously mimic the emotional expressions they see, which then triggers them to actually feel those emotions. When Jimin depicts sadness with drooping shoulders and heavy movements, viewers will feel the same weight in their chests. When he jumps with freedom and joy, viewers feel a surge of positive energy. This explains why so many people say they feel Jimin's performance, not just watch Jimin's performance. In the song, Run BTS, there's a moment where the formation changes and Jimin is suddenly in the center, alone for a few seconds. Most dancers would use a spotlight moment like this to display their strongest or most impressive moves. But what does Jimin do? He's still, really still, just for a moment, but long enough to make everyone in the arena hold their breath. Then he moves with an explosion of energy that makes the crowd scream. That stillness is the fourth hidden message. In the noise of the modern world, true strength often comes from the ability to be silent, to take a pause, to not always be doing something. The use of levels in Jimin's dance also holds symbolic meaning. In dance terminology, levels refer to the height or lowness of a dancer's position. High level when standing or jumping, middle level when bending or squatting, low level when kneeling or lying down. Jimin uses these level transitions to depict emotional journeys. In Butterfly, he starts from a low level, almost crawling, symbolizing a cocoon. As the song develops, he moves up to the middle level, then finally to a high level with graceful jumping movements, transformation from caterpillar to butterfly. This isn't just a beautiful visual metaphor, but also a message about personal growth. We all start from a low place, and the journey upward is a process that takes time and struggle. There's a cool story from a famous American choreographer who worked with BTS. He said Jimin has a unique ability he calls emotional timing, the ability to know exactly when to express certain emotions for maximum impact. This isn't about technique or physical strength, but about deep understanding of narrative and dramaturgy. Like an actor who knows exactly when to raise their voice or when to whisper for maximum effect, Jimin knows exactly when to give everything and when to hold back. In Idol, when everyone is moving with full energy, there's a moment where Jimin slows down, letting others move around him while he stays in the center with minimal but intensely focused movements. Viewers' eyes are drawn to him not because he's moving the most, but because he chooses not to move, a contrast that creates focus. What's most interesting is how Jimin uses eye contact as part of his choreography. In most K-pop performances, dancers will choose one focal point, usually the main camera or center of the arena, to maintain a consistent expression. Jimin does something different. He moves his gaze, sometimes staring directly at the camera with striking intensity, sometimes closing his eyes completely and dancing as if no one is watching, sometimes gazing into the distance as if seeing something others can't see. Each of these choices tells something. Direct eye contact creates intimacy. Closed eyes create introspection. Distant gaze creates longing. The fifth hidden message: we communicate not only with what we do, but with what we choose to see and not see. Fans who pay close attention have already identified what they call Jimin's signature moments. Small movements he adds that aren't in the original choreography, but become the identity of his performance. A wink at just the right moment. A small smile that appears and disappears in a fraction of a second, the way he extends his fingertips at the end of a hand movement. This is personalization of choreography, the way Jimin leaves his signature on every performance. And each of these signatures carries a message. This isn't just dance, this is expression from a unique individual with a unique story. In the world of contemporary dance that forms Jimin's educational background, there's a concept called quality of movement. Two dancers can perform exactly the same movement, but the result will feel very different depending on the quality they give. Jimin is a master of movement quality variation. He can move with sharp and percussive quality, then in the next count transform into flowing and legato. In DNA, he combines playful and light movements with contrasting powerful moments. These quality changes create rich emotional texture, like a composer using dynamic variations to make music more interesting. Now guys, there's one more thing we need to discuss about Jimin's brilliance in hiding messages. If you've ever noticed his past performances, there's a consistent pattern that emerges. Jimin always starts with vulnerability, then transforms into strength. This isn't just a random pattern, it's a reflection of his personal journey as an artist and human being. From a trainee who almost didn't debut because he was considered lacking, to becoming one of the most influential dancers in the K-pop industry. Every performance of his is a reminder that vulnerability isn't weakness, but actually our greatest strength. You know what? There are dancers from various countries who have tried to analyze and deconstruct Jimin's dance style. But what's interesting is, even though they can technically imitate his movements, they can't replicate the feeling that Jimin brings. Why? Because what Jimin does isn't just about muscle memory or repetitive practice. He truly lives in every moment on stage. He doesn't think, what's the next move? But he feels, what emotion do I need to convey now? There's also something interesting about how Jimin interacts with the music itself. Most dancers follow the beat. They dance on beat, precisely with the musical rhythm. Jimin, he sometimes chooses to move between beats, creating unexpected syncopation. Or sometimes he's intentionally slightly late from the beat, creating tension that makes the audience hold their breath. This is an advanced technique usually only done by dancers with decades of experience. But Jimin, with his extraordinary artistic intuition, has mastered this since the beginning of his career. What's even more amazing, Jimin has the ability to adapt to different situations. Have you ever noticed how his performance differs when he's in a large stadium compared to a music studio? In stadiums, he amplifies his movements, making them bigger so they can be seen from far away. But he doesn't just make them physically bigger, he also amplifies his emotions, making them more powerful. Conversely, in music studios or more intimate performances, he pulls back, makes them more subtle and detailed, because cameras can capture every small expression. This is a level of artistry that shows Jimin isn't just a skilled dancer, but a true performer who understands context and audience. Guys, ultimately, the biggest message hidden in every Jimin choreography is this. Dance isn't about perfect movements, but about truth being revealed. Every time Jimin steps on stage, he's not just displaying choreography he's memorized. He's presenting parts of himself, his life experiences, his fears, his hopes, and his dreams. He teaches us that the body is the most honest instrument we have, and when we dare to use it to express our truth, we create something that transcends art. We create genuine human connection. And perhaps that's the greatest proof of all the secret messages he hides, that ultimately, we're all searching for connection, understanding, and acknowledgement that what we feel is valid and valuable. Jimin proves that dance isn't just physical movement, but a universal language that can touch anyone's heart, no matter where they come from. So guys, those are the hidden messages that Jimin hides in every choreography. What do you think? Have you ever noticed these things before? Or maybe you have your own discoveries about Jimin's dance that we haven't discussed. Write in the comments section. I really want to know your opinions. Don't forget to like this video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to get other interesting content about BTS and K-pop, and share with your friends who are also Jimin or BTS fans. See you in the next video. And remember, every movement has a story, and every story has meaning. Bye-bye.